The 338 Win Mag is one of the most interesting cartridges in American history. It was the first cartridge specifically marketed for a state, and it instantly gained respect the world over for its performance on tough game animals and its relatively flat trajectory with heavy bullets. But this cartridge is also an enduring topic of controversy, both for its usefulness and for the folklore behind its development. In this video, I'll discuss the history of the 338 Winchester Magnum cartridge and give you my opinion on where it fits in the modern world of hunting. The first thing I'll tackle is the old rumor that Elmer Keith had a hand in developing the 338 Win Mag. Although Elmer loved the 33 calibers and helped create the 333 and 334 OKH, Elmer didn't develop the 338 Win Mag and had no hand in its creation. So don't believe the internet lore that gives credit for the 338 Win Mag to Elmer Keith. The 338 Win Mag was purely a Winchester creation when they decided to debut a new family of Magnum cartridges that could be chambered in a standard action. This new family of Magnums were the 458 Win Mag, the 338 Win Mag, and the 264 Win Mag, all of which are based on the same exact 2.5-inch shortened 375 H&H case with a 25-degree shoulder. So the 338 Win Mag was simply an evolution of the 458 Win Mag. You know, Winchester simply took their new 458 Win Mag case and put a 338 caliber bullet in it. You know, Winchester envisioned this new family of Magnums as being the perfect 3-rifle battery for handling anything on the planet. You know, and it was a good plan. And basically, these 3 cartridges covered everything from pronghorn to elephants. You know, but in the end, the 338 Win Mag would end up being the only one of this family that would maintain widespread popularity to this day. You know, Winchester hit the perfect combination of velocity, bullet weights, twist rate, and rifle platform to create a cartridge that actually lived up to the hype. The 338 Win Mag was the first cartridge marketed specifically for a state. Alaska was on the road to statehood in 1958 and officially became a state on January 3, 1959. That year, Winchester introduced the Model 70 Alaskan and chambered it in 338 Win Mag. It was the perfect marketing strategy, as American media attention was firmly placed on the new state of Alaska and hunters started flooding into the state. Post-World War II, Alaska was viewed as being one of those exotic hunting locations that people could actually afford to hunt. Bears and big Alaskan moose filled the dreams of American hunters, and they were hungry for a rifle cartridge that can handle everything from caribou to grizzly bears. The 338 Win Mag was the perfect new cartridge to come in and fill that void. Today, the Pre-64 Model 70 Alaskan is the official rifle of the state of Alaska, and the 338 Win Mag is still the most popular cartridge there. Outside of Alaska, the 338 Win Mag has become a favorite of elk hunters and a heavily used cartridge for African plains game. In its 63-year history, the 338 Win Mag has cemented itself as the most popular medium bore cartridge in North America. The 338 Winchester Magnum sits right within a category of cartridges known as medium bore cartridges. In the modern hunting world, medium bore cartridges are considered to be a class of centerfire rifle cartridges between about 32 and 39 caliber. The 338 Winchester Magnum was developed to be the perfect CXP-3 class game cartridge, and to tell you the truth, it'll anchor any elk, moose, brown bear, zebra, or eland with ease, and it shoots flat. When the 338 Win Mag came out, 3 bullet weights were initially offered. A 200 grain bullet, a 250 grain load, and a 300 grain load. But as time went on and bullet construction got way better, the 300 grain bullets were pretty much dropped from the line. And the 200 to 250 grainers are what are used today mainly. To tell you the truth, the 225 and 230 grain class bullets are probably the most popular right now. So you have a cartridge that shoots a 250 grain bullet at 2,700 feet per second, fits within a standard action rifle, has great ammo and rifle availability. So what's not to like? The most popular medium bore cartridges are the 338 Win Mag, the 35 Whelen, the 9.3 by 62, and the venerable old 375 H&H Magnum. You know, there's other more obscure medium bore cartridges out there like the 350 Rem Mag and the Weatherby cartridges, but we're not going to discuss those. These cartridges are by far the most popular and most practical medium bore cartridges. In this chart, you'll also notice that I used 250 grain bullets for everything. You know, admittedly, the 250 grainers are a little bit on the heavy side for the 338 and the 35 Whelen, and they're a little bit on the light side for the 9.3 and the H&H. But I used the 250 grainers as a middle ground bullet weight for this comparison to make everything fair. I'll also note that these are my actual reloads. These are actually my best reloads in this bullet class for these cartridges. I'm not pulling numbers out of my ass or consulting reloading books or regurgitating crap I found online. These are actually my best loads for these bullet weights in these cartridges. As a reloader, you already know that the 35 Whelen and 9.3 by 62 are ballistic twins with the 250 grain bullets. You know, I'm going to do a future video on the 35 Whelen where I'll go into these differences, but this video is about the 338 Win Mag. So for the purposes of this video, I'll lump these two cartridges together when I compare them to the 338 Win Mag. Because, you know, if they were using the exact same bullets, they'd probably be going at damn near the exact same velocity. So these are ballistic twins, and I will go over a lot of the details of the 35 Whelen in a future video, but not right now. This video is about that 338 Win Mag. The 338 Win Mag has an obvious energy advantage over the 35 Whelen and the 9.3 by 62. But inside of 300 yards, you'll be surprised to see that drift and drop are about the same. You know, for all intents and purposes, inside of 300 yards, the 338 Win Mag has no real ballistic advantage over the 35 Whelen or the 9.3 by 62. But the Win Mag is a significant step up in recoil. You know, mainly because the Whelen's burning about 55 grains of powder, while the Win Mag is burning over 70 grains of powder. So that's a huge difference. So if you're planning to shoot an animal 300 yards and in, the Whelen and the 9.3 by 62 are going to drop the same animals as the 338 Win Mag with the same trajectory, but these cartridges are going to do it with about 15 grains less powder. And as a result, you have way less recoil and muzzle blast. Where the 338 Win Mag really takes the lead is at distances over 300 yards. So if you think you need to make a shot on an elk at 400 yards, the Win Mag has undeniable advantages in both trajectory and retained energy. Okay, so now let's compare the 338 Win Mag to the 375 H&H.
The H&H has the ballistic advantage over the 338 Win Mag, as you already know, but the 375 does it with almost the same amount of recoil as the 338 Win Mag, and then operates at slightly lower pressures too. And a lot of people think the 375 recoil pulse is more of a slow push than a real punch or jarring motion like people claim the 338 Win Mag is, but I'm not really sold on that. I just think as part of the design, the reality of shooting a 375 H&H is you're naturally probably going to be shooting a rifle that was made for African safaris, and it's probably going to be at least a 10-pound rifle that you're shooting that out of. And a lot of people shoot those little 7-pound mountain rifles in 338 Win Mag, and those will kick your ass. But most hunters will tell you that the real magic with the 338 Win Mag happens with the 225 grain bullets. So let's take a look at those. Be mindful that both of these bullets are 225 grain Nosler partitions, a favorite bullet of elk, bear, and moose hunters. You could see from this chart that the 225 grainers are definitely the sweet spot for both of these cartridges. Both of these cartridges provide velocity and energy well above 2,000 at 350 yards, so they still have similar trajectories. And you might be asking why I want both of these numbers in the 2000s. Well, that's easy. Number one, I like my bullets to be hitting big animals with at least 2,000 foot-pounds of energy. If we're talking elk, moose, big bears, I want it to be hitting with at least 2,000 foot-pounds of energy. So that's kind of a personal magic number for me. I noticed a lot of good performance with that. And I noticed that performance drops off sharply when you get under 2,000 foot-pounds on big, tough animals. On the velocity side of things, I like my velocity to be over 2,000 feet per second on impact because, I live in California and a lot of other places I hunt with monolithic bullets. And these really need to be well above 2,000 feet per second at impact in order for them to expand and perform properly. So, with me, I want both these numbers over 2,000. And you can see with these 225 grain bullets, both of them do that. But once again, the Whelen does it with much less powder and much less recoil. Also, to tell you the truth, the 338 Win Mag doesn't start becoming advantageous until you get past 300 yards. And this is mainly because the Win Mag is traveling 100 feet per second faster, and 338 caliber bullets have higher BCs than 358 caliber bullets. So once again, in all the bullet weights, the 338 Win Mag doesn't become an advantage until you start shooting past about 300 yards. Okay, and there's one more thing I need to bring up while we're doing cartridge comparisons that would make my video very disingenuous if I didn't address it. And that's that a lot of hunters feel that all of the medium bores are a solution looking for a problem that doesn't exist. Basically, they see no need for any of the medium bores. And to their credit, if you look at the ballistics of most of the 300 Magnums, they're shooting flatter than all of these out to longer distances. And, they're hitting pretty damn hard too, out to longer distances. So a lot of people feel that, for anything, probably up to bear, their 300 Magnums handle that. And if they want to shoot anything bigger than that, they'll just be shooting a 416 or a 458. And this is kind of the position of most Africa hunters. You know, your average Africa hunter will probably taking a 308, a 7mm Rem mag, a 30-06, or a 300 Win Mag to Africa for plains game. You know, and then a lot of them are bringing something 375 or over for the dangerous game. You know, and that's how most of them roll. And they really don't have any utility for bringing a 338 Win Mag or a 35 Wayland over to Africa with them, you know, because it's a real compromise on both the plains game and the dangerous game. So they just bring specific rifles for both. And I think you'll find even here in North America, being without dangerous game, except for the big brown bears, particularly the Kodiak bears, or if you're lucky enough to get to be able to hunt polar bear. For everything else other than those big bears, you know, the 300 Magnums handle that. They handle it fine too, with ease. So, you know, a lot of people look at these medium bores not as a bridge between the big bores and the small bores, but as unnecessary clutter between them. I personally find the 338 Win Mag to be a tad bit more finicky than the 358 and 375 cartridges when it comes to reloading. This is because many 338 caliber bullets have a longer, pointier nose profile with higher BCs, which makes these bullets more sensitive to seating depth. But it's definitely not a difficult cartridge to load for. You might also run into the typical belted Magnum issues with case web expansion and bulging. But if you set up your dies to headspace off the shoulder instead of the belt, you know, and you use a belted Magnum collet die, you can almost double the life of your brass with the 338 Win Mag. Also, the 338s or all the medium bores is the point where I start crimping my ammo. You know, when recoil energy starts creeping up over 30 foot-pounds, a crimp will prevent bullet setback due to recoil in the magazine. You know, I only use Leaf factory crimp dies for my crimps. You know, I don't use the roll crimp feature in my seating die, and I recommend that you stay away from using that too. Always get the Leaf factory crimp die. And after about a half hour consulting my little black book on my reloading table with hundreds and hundreds of my favorite loads in it, you know, I basically come to the conclusion that the 338 Win Mag is pretty easy to load for because it likes many common powders. For the 200 and 225 grain bullets, I like Reloader 17, Reloader 19, and all of the 4350 powders. And Hybrid 100V are all good powders for that. But I personally tend to get the best results with H4350 for both my 200 and 225 grain loads. But for heavier 250 grain bullets, you know, all of the 4831 powders and Reloader 22 are excellent for those 250 grainers. But I tend to use and get the best results with H4831 shortcut for my 250 grain loads in 338 Win Mag. The 338 Winchester Magnum has been America's go-to medium bore cartridge for well over 60 years now. It was marketed for the state of Alaska and has put down countless moose and bear throughout the decades and has become the guide's choice as an elk cartridge in the lower 48 states. This cartridge is very prolific and common, making it extremely practical to take anywhere with you. And bullet selection is extensive for the 338s, you know, giving the reloader a ton of options. So what are my thoughts on the 338 Winchester Magnum? Well, I almost never shoot over 300 yards, well, because I'm a good hunter. So all that extra powder, recoil, and muzzle blast is pretty much unnecessary for my style of hunting. And a cartridge like the 35 Whalen or something like that just suits me better, I think. But if you think you might need to reach out beyond 300 yards with a medium bore rifle, the 338 Win Mag is going to give you the best trajectory and the best selection of high BC bullets suitable for longer ranges. Well, I hope you enjoyed my take on the 338 Winchester Magnum. You can contact me with any questions or comments at desertdogoutdoors@gmail.com. Hit subscribe if you find my content worthy of your subscription. And as always, thanks for watching and good hunting.